With a crew in Cuba right now.
Let's go now to Local 10 News anchor Calvin Hughes and Local 10 News reporters Glenna Milberg and Hatzel Vela, all of them in Havana.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Calvin Hughes. My colleagues here, Hatzel Vela and Glenna Milberg, and we're just steps away from where thousands of people are paying their final respects to Fidel Castro at the Jose Marti Memorial. And your first impression as you walk here is that it's just incredible the amount of people who have turned out. Hatzel, I'll begin with you.
Well, thousands of people are turning out, and not just that. We asked some of them, and they're telling us they've been waiting in line for 2 hours just to be able to pay homage to Fidel Castro here on Revolutionary Plaza.
And I think what's so interesting too, Glenn, is that you were in Little Havana, and now you're in Havana, Cuba, and we cannot emphasize enough the contrast of both worlds.
Today and always, I will say, yes, here today there are no parties. There will be a rally. It's a gathering. It's a communal outpouring, not only for the death of their leader, but for, and this is very important, to commit to the continuation of the revolution. And I think that's something that we really need to talk about as the day goes on. People are being asked to make a commitment to go beyond Fidel Castro.
And that's something that Elia Gonzalez talked about on state-run television just a couple of days ago. Hatzel, I'm going to give you a chance to show the folks at home what it's like here, and it is truly an incredible scene.
Yes, so you see the line that extends probably several blocks down. What I want to also show you is this area here. This is the central part of the plaza, and you can see they're setting up here for what is expected to be a mass gathering that is taking place tomorrow at 7. But the most important element of the story right now, of course, is the people. And if you follow me, you can see that they're all lining up. Some of them have been waiting for hours just to be able to get to this point. ¿Cómo se siente, señora, estar aquí este día?
Un placer estar aquí, un compromiso.
Okay, she said it's not only a pleasure to be here, but it is a compromise. So that gives you a sense of what we are talking about here when it comes to the emotions that these people feel.
To be here and to see thousands upon thousands of people that are coming here to pay their respects, I think that says a lot for what the attitude for Fidel Castro here is in the country itself.
You know what's so fascinating? When we see Cuba, largely it's in photographs and videos that are approved. To be on the streets in the neighborhoods and to meet people without a camera, I think you get just this amazing sense of real life and real thought. And we met people here today whose passion for the revolution is undeniable. And just a couple of individual stories about that. 2 little boys who, one of them wearing a cross, which was very interesting because the Catholic Church was banned here by Fidel for so long until the last decade, and of course 2 popes have visited, but also next to him his brother wearing a kerchief for the children of the revolution, so that contrast was really interesting. And then we met someone wearing medals of the revolution, a man who is in his 60s who said from his very early childhood he has been a revolutionary. He talked very passionately, Hatzel, Calvin, about how where else, what other country do you have free medicine and free education and the ideals of the revolution. And this man was absolutely speaking from his heart. He did not know I was a reporter. He did not know that anything would be made public, and then he allowed me to take his photograph, and then he knew. But I think that to deny that there is a population here that is absolutely committed to this revolution is short-sighted, although there are plenty of people who are looking toward the future and what more may come.
You know, closing one chapter with the death of Fidel Castro, but the next chapter many folks are unaware of. I want to be a contrarian here just for a second if I can. So the folks back at home, if I'm a Cuban exile, I'm saying all of these people were forced to be here. Have you had a chance to ask any of them, were you forced to be here today, and are you here because you love Fidel Castro or simply here because you were forced to be here by the Cuban government?
Well, you heard the lady that we just talked to. She said it was my pleasure, and she almost started breaking down. You could see it in her eyes. So I don't think, at least for her, she was speaking out of honesty, not being forced.
This moment here is going to go on. This memorial is going to take place until 10 o'clock tonight. We are going to be here for you to cover every angle of this story, this still developing story, paying respects to Fidel Castro. So for now, reporting from Havana, Cuba, for my colleagues here, Glenna Milberg, Hatzel Vela, I'm Calvin Hughes. We'll send it back to you in Miami.